Krishna. Om Shri Krishnaya Namaha. Shri Krishna was an avatara, or an incarnation of the Lord. He is said to be the highest incarnation of Lord Vishnu, and probably one of the most loved and well-known of all Hindu deities. The purpose of his incarnation was not only to destroy adharma, unrighteousness, but also to reveal to the world the magnificence of God. Krishna in Sanskrit means dark. Krishna represents the inner self, Atman. The Atman is dark in the sense that it is unknown in man until we allow the divine self within us to reveal itself through sincere spiritual practice. Lord Krishna was exemplary in knowledge, emotion, and action. He was the perfect master of all the yogas. His life was an embodiment of all the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita, which was the message he delivered to Arjuna on the battlefield. Bhagavad Gita is the celestial song of God. In his discourse to Arjuna, Krishna revealed to him the profound, sublime, and soul-stirring spiritual truths and the essence of all yoga teachings. All these teachings were recognized in the Bhagavad Gita by the sage Vyasa for the benefit of all humanity. The Bhagavad Gita remains today one of the most popular spiritual texts. The incarnation of Krishna represents the descent of God to earth. This idea of the limitless, formless reality being constricted and restricted to a limited human form is suggested by Krishna's birth in a prison. However, the divine child was not confined to the prison. No sooner was Krishna born than the prison doors miraculously flew open. His father, Vasudeva, carried him out of the prison in spite of the severe restrictions imposed on him. This episode is meant to convey that the infinite being can never be restricted or limited to a human form. A God-man is eternally free. Krishna represents such a God-man. Krishna was born in Mathura and grew up in Vrindavan. His maternal uncle Kamsa was a wicked man. He reigned over Mathura with the help of his minister Kanura, who was equally wicked and cruel. Under the rule of these two tyrants, Mathura suffered great upheaval. Krishna destroyed both men and restored peace and order throughout the land. Krishna is often shown playing a flute. The enchanting music emanating from the flute of the Lord is the bliss of godhood enjoyed by a man of realization. The flute is hollow, but it can produce enchanting music. So too, when a man empties himself of all ego, lower thoughts and desires, and fills himself with thoughts of God, the divinity within him flows forth with enchanting bliss. The milkmaids of Vrindavan were called gopis. When Krishna played his flute, the gopis became enchanted by the divine music. They loved Krishna and always longed to be with him. When he played, the milkmaids danced in ecstasy around Krishna. The dance of the gopis is known as the Rasa Leela. Krishna represents the divine self, and the gopis represent individual souls or jivas. In the presence of the divine, one becomes filled with ecstasy and loses one's sense of individuality. We become one with him. Radha, also a gopi, was Krishna's beloved. She was completely devoted to him, and whenever she was not with him, she would be thinking of him. She represents complete devotion to the divine. Lord Krishna had great love for all humanity. As a child, he was mischievous and throughout his games he would capture everyone's heart. He would find joy in stealing butter with his friends. The stealing of the butter was a sort of sport, or leela, when he was a boy, to instill delight in the hearts of the gopis who were his devotees. Krishna steals or captivates the hearts of all his devotees. He makes them forget the world and draws their minds towards his blessed feet so that they may enjoy everlasting peace and happiness. As he grew older, Krishna showed his love by defending the villagers from oppressors. He always stood up for justice and righteousness. He was the friend and benefactor of the poor and helpless. He was extremely sweet and kind towards everyone. This is why he was loved so much by everyone. Krishna was the embodiment of supreme knowledge and divine love. Om Shri Krishnaya Namaha.